From the Aishin Broadcast Studio, it's Wash Talk.
Welcome to Wash Talk. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today our guest is Meddy Ali from Hello Wash. Welcome.
Brian, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
Of course.
Wait, we're going to talk about AI today.
Yes.
So let's just start off with a nice definition. What is AI?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because a lot of people are talking about AI and what AI is and what AI isn't. But AI, think about it as kind of a supercomputer that we give it a bunch of information and it learns from all that information. And it generates new stuff and new things from the information that it's learned, which is very different from your traditional technology where, for example, think of Siri. When you think of Siri and you say, hey, Siri, tell me this. And when it hears this keyword that what this is, it tells you like 3 or 4 canned responses that they code in there. Whereas AI is trained on information. You're like, AI, tell me this. Then it can generate new things that are not like canned responses. What we know now, what people are referring to AI now is basically machine learning. That's what everybody's, when someone says AI in the new age that we're in, it's basically just machine learning is kind of like the major, which is the majority of AI. That's like the more technical term.
So when you ask AI a question, is it like basically accessing like things that it has already learned, or is it actually going out and trying to learn these things and then coming back to you with an answer?
Yeah, that's is both, but the more popular answer is it's things that it's learned. But it can go also and learn things on its own, but a lot of that could be garbage, right? So as long as, if there are no humans powering the information that the AI is learning to know that, hey, this is good information or this is bad information, then it can come out with garbage, right? I tell a lot of our customers, a lot of the operators that I talk to, when we create an AI for you, an AI instance, it's only as good as the data that you give us. Right? If you give us bad data, it may not behave the way you want it. If you give us good data, it will behave perfectly how you want it, right? And so AI is only as good as the data that we give it. But yeah.
Cool. Well, let's talk about customers and car wash customers.
Sure.
What is AI doing for car washes today? Like, how can it help them?
Yeah, that's a big question. We are kind of in an industry that's very interesting because you don't think about AI and car washing together, right? But there's so many things that AI can do for car washes. The most obvious one is just customer service, just because it's easy, accessible, and it's the fastest to implement. Similar to what we do is just AI phone answering, right? Just easy customer service. There are things too that it can do for operators, like damage claims. It can do things like financial modeling for car washes. It can do things like predictive maintenance. So it can tell you when a motor is going to go out. And so 2 weeks before, you can have a replacement motor at your door. It can do things like inventory management. So instead of having a manager go to your 5 car washes and count inventory, AI can tell you, hey, you've used this much of this chemical. Now you have this much left. It's time to order inventory. So there's a lot that AI can do for car washes.
Nice. It sounds like the AI can actually solve a lot of headaches for a car wash owner. But let's talk about dollars and cents.
Yeah.
Like let's get down to the bottom line there.
Sure.
How lucrative can AI be for a car wash?
Yeah, that's a good question because when you think car wash operators, they only have so many hours in the day to do things. For car wash operators specifically who are smaller, there's 1,000 things to do, right? Using AI can save you a lot of costs from a time perspective as well as a money perspective. Again, the most obvious is customer service. You don't need, per se, a big customer service team to handle 100% of your inquiries that come in from customers, right? That could equate to money. Like think of a big operator that has 200 locations. They may need 20 people to answer all of the flood of inquiries that come in. Now with AI, it can handle 50% of those inquiries. Now you have 50% inquiries less to take care of, so you don't need 20 people anymore. Maybe you need 10 people, right? So that's one example. Another example is sales. It can sell memberships for you through training your people. And so think about someone and we were actually talking about this earlier. Think about someone on the floor selling at the car wash. and you need to train them. And let's say you have 20 people that are doing selling for you. How do you do that at capacity? How do you train them at capacity? How do you make sure that this person is saying this thing and this person is saying, following the best practices? You can't do that at a large scale unless you have something that can listen to thousands of hours of these sales conversations, right? So AI can have sales tools that can put money in your pocket that way by training your people to sell faster or more efficiently or whatever it is. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. You mentioned that a car wash owner has 1,000 things to do. A lot of times it's the things like training your people or monitoring your people. That's, it's not on fire, but it can certainly affect your business. And so, that's a great opportunity.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I do have, so we work with operators now some of our customers who say, hey, I listen to some of my customer service calls that my team does. And I have 1,000 of them, but I can only go to random days and pick 5 each day and listen to it, right? How can I make it more efficient to make my team really do customer service correct? And I'm like, oh, we can build a tool that AI can listen to all of the customer service calls and come back to you and say, hey, these are your best practices, A, B, C, D. Person A did A right and B right, but did not do C right? And their tone was X, Y, and Z. And so you can really get into the nitty-gritty of doing a lot of the operational things with AI that can really save you money. Instead of hiring 10 people to do that and listen to those thousands of calls, now you can have AI to do. Obviously, there's a cost to it. It's not like it's going to be free.
Yeah.
But you don't need you can use your humans for more efficient things.
Yeah, you can use your humans to actually communicate with other humans, right?
Yes, exactly.
You can have them out. You can have them, fixing the motor that goes out, or you can have them, talking to a customer when they first arrive. And,
exactly.
Doing all the things.
Yeah,
that
greeting
do.
people. Yeah, you don't want AI greeting people right now. That's funny.
Well, let's talk about the customer experience.
Yeah.
I mean that's really the most important thing. I mean we're in a very competitive business, and so you got to take care of the customer. How is AI affecting the customer's experience?
Yeah, that's an interesting question and a hard one, because we as humans in the West, particularly in the USA, have been trained not trained, more of like adapted to really horrible experiences, specifically when it comes to customer experience from these big companies. So think, your big telecoms or your banks, and you call them and you're like, I am your AI virtual assistant and I can help you. And it doesn't even understand 2 words you say. Right? So that's what we're used to. And then now enters generative AI, which is the new age of AI, that is the complete opposite of that and actually behaves like a human. So the customer experience itself with the new age of AI is more efficient, it's faster, it's more helpful. But there are 3 types of people that they take AI and what they listen to and talk to with AI, and they behave in 3 different ways. 1, people that love it because it's so fast. Like imagine calling and you're like, I have this specific problem, and it helps you with the problem. That's good, right?
Yeah.
Now, some people now warm up to it eventually. So the first type of person, they love it. Like, I'm happy, I got the answer, move on to the next person. The next person is getting warmed up to it, like, hey, I didn't know you can actually help me with this. And then they end up liking it. But then there's a 3rd category that really hate it, of people. And this is an interesting one because it gets frustrating when you say human, and it keeps just saying, let me try to help you. It's like, I don't want your help. You already couldn't help me. Let me get to a human. And those people really hate AI. I think we do a very, very, very good job at Hello Wash of making sure the people that hate AI can still get a human in the most efficient manner without getting frustrated. And I think we do a good job figuring that out. But those are the 3 types of people. People who love it, people who are indifferent, and people who really don't like it.
Yeah. Well, now you brought up, a 200 wash group or different, large operators. Let's talk about a small operator.
Yeah.
A smaller operator, when they first get, AI that's going to handle some of that customer service for them, like what do they notice right off the bat?
That question is the reason why we're in the car wash industry. One of my first customers as a company, because we started out in restaurants. We were building for restaurants, and we're like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be huge, 2 years ago. And then my first customer was a car wash, which I was like, what's going on with car washes? Like, who calls car washes anyways?
Yeah.
Which was funny. And then my first customer was, when I was talking to him, he's like, hey man, listen, I'm sitting at dinner and someone's calling me to see if we're open, and I'm just tired of it. They can go to Google, they can do this. And I'm like, I have the perfect solution for you. And we sold our first customer right there and then on the phone.
Oh, wow.
And so for smaller operators, it can kind of alleviate a lot of the stress that they're getting from all of these customer service inquiries. So if you're a business owner, specifically a small business owner, you're going to be very particular about making your customers happy. And if your phone is ringing and you're face-to-face with a customer, like we're face-to-face now, and you don't answer that phone, you're going to be stressing. You're going to be like, I need to answer that phone. I need to get to that customer because they might, leave a bad review or whatever it is. And so that's one way it does it, is it relieves stress. I'm actually talking to a group now. They have one car wash that does trucks. And the lady's like, I'm old. I'm nearing my my retirement age. And I just keep answering the phone, sometimes at 12 a.m. Sometimes people wake me up at 4 a.m. because they want to talk to me about my car wash, something simple. And I was like, AI would be a perfect solution for that. Another thing is they don't need to hire a person specifically just to do customer service. One, they don't have the budget. Two, hiring someone specifically to do customer service doesn't make sense for 1 to 5 car washes, right? Maybe when you get bigger, it makes sense, but AI can really help with those smaller operators.
Let's go back to the larger operator again.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Let's talk about the larger operators. When a larger operator is looking, at an AI as a solution, like what should they be trying to accomplish, and what can it do for them?
That's a good question. Now, are we talking about AI specifically, or AI customer service?
Let's start with customer service.
Okay. So when we look at larger operators, when it comes to customer service, larger operators are having a hard time catching up. I haven't met, maybe there's 1 or 2 that I've met, but I haven't met many large operators that have enough resources to answer all of their customer service inquiries. We have a large operator right now that before us used to be at a 30% service level, meaning the people that came into the queue, they would only answer 30%. And now that's not their fault per se, just a resource thing. It's like they don't have enough people or can't hire enough good people to answer the phone, right?
Wow, so like not just 30, like so only like 3 out of 10 people that would call in
that would get
talk
to the
to
queue
a person.
To talk to a person.
Wow. So the other ones would just get tired of waiting and hang up?
Either that or go to voicemail or go and send an email or just kind of get frustrated, right?
And leave a bad review?
And leave a bad review. They never answer their phone, right?
Yeah, wow.
Now, when we implemented AI, it was helpful, right? We didn't see that number jump to 100%. We saw it jump to 80%, right? Now, it didn't jump to 100% because AI can only do so much at the front end. Like you could eliminate 50%, 60% of the work, but the rest still you need humans, right? And so that's what happened is we saw that 30% service level go from that to 80, which is really good. And then over time, it'll get higher and higher as AI kind of trains and learns more about their operation, right?
Gotcha.
And so that's an example of what a big operator can do with customer service. Now, as far as AI itself, that's a whole other topic. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, let's stay with the customer service. Because I want to ask another question. So you're
Please.
Talking about, that they were only able to cover about 30% of the calls coming in.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing, so AI is a tool. Are you saying that it's not going to replace people, right? I mean, is it a replacement for people or is it not a replacement for people?
Yeah, that's a good question that we get often because one of my customers, actually, I was talking to, and I was, just spitballing ideas about AI. And I'm like, we could do this thing that will help you be more efficient. She stopped me. She's like, no, you're not going to take my job away. And I'm like, no. My goal is not to take your job away. My goal is to make you, instead of doing X thing at 10%, you do it at 80%. So much more efficient, right? And so people have this misconception that AI will replace humans. Unfortunately, a lot of competitors in the space and outside the space usually say, hey, AI will automate, let's say 90+% of your customer service experience, or AI will do 90+% of the work that the humans do. We say no. Our motto is AI powered, human centered, right? Our goal is to make your people efficient because believe it or not, people are a hot commodity, right, nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, especially good people are a hot commodity. And if you take that hot commodity and make it into do things that are repetitive, that if you train a 5-year-old how to do it, they could just do it. And just having AI do that instead and make them focus on the things that are bigger, then it makes a difference. And I have a couple of examples of some customers that have done that we can talk about later, of what our customers have done to make their people do other things that are more important.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like when if you're having a house redone. I mean, if you have like a carpenter who's like a brilliant carpenter that builds you a beautiful bar or builds you a beautiful kitchen,
yeah,
or a cabinet maker. They don't also paint the walls, right?
Yeah.
You know, the cabinet maker makes cabinets,
yes,
because he's making the best cabinets.
Yes,
just about anybody can paint those walls.
100%.
So AI is going to paint the walls.
Yes, let AI paint the walls. Yeah, don't let it make the cabinets.
Yeah, we don't need Picasso painting walls, right?
No, you don't. And you don't want crooked cabinets either. So yeah.
Presented from the Aishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
Well, Meddy, it sounds like you've saved a lot of your customers a lot of man hours.
Yep.
Now, I mean, you're not replacing the people. What are the people doing now that AI is kind of taking care of all the easy lifts?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I'll give you a couple of examples of some of my customers and what they're doing now. One of my customers is actually utilizing their people to sell more fleet plans. So what's happening is, before us, their people were just hammered by calls. They're being reactive to the customer service inquiries. Mm-hmm. Our goal is to make them proactive. So what we did when we got in is the AI started handling a lot more of the calls. Mm-hmm. And so they weren't in the phones, the 8 hours that they were there for work. And so what they did is they found that, okay, we have some time now where you could go out and get me 5 more fleet accounts each month, right? So putting more money in the pocket of the customer. I actually remember an example. I was sitting with I do these customer success calls with my customers every week, where I say, hey, how is AI working for you? How's it doing? What can we improve? What can we do? And a customer service representative from one of the teams is like, Meddy, before AI, and she hated the idea of AI. Like, we had a team meeting and she's like, I don't want to do this. I want my customers to talk to me, to talk to a human. It's like, yep, that's usually almost always the most preferred. Like, when you call somewhere, you want to talk to a human, right? Yeah. That's almost always the most preferred method, and I prefer that, right? But there are things that are easier. And she said, before you guys, for Hello Wash, I hated everything AI. With you guys, now I can actually go to the bathroom, because before I couldn't go to the bathroom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. She literally said I couldn't go to the restroom because I would have to turn off my queue, like go away from the phone, and my other team member or my teammate would handle all of the calls until I came back, and I felt really bad. And so I would have to hold myself until we had a kind of a lull, which wasn't a long time. But now I have 15 minutes where I can go to the bathroom or do something or make a snack or whatever it is. So that was a really good thing to hear, validation point for us. So,
yeah, I have heard a statistic, and you're saying that everybody would rather talk to a person. Yeah. I think there's a few situations where it's better to talk to an AI.
Yes.
Like if you're just trying to make an appointment,
yeah.
AI can get that done for you in like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And if you're talking to a person, how are you today?
6 minutes, yeah.
6 minutes, 6 minutes. And you're like, oh gosh, I just want to make an appointment.
Yeah. To that point, the funny thing is when some of my customers come to me like, hey, Meddy, I want to know how fast the AI is, like the interaction time. I want to compare it to my human. I was like, that's not very fair, because a conversation with a human can take 6 minutes. With AI, it could take 45 seconds. So you can't compare how efficient your humans are to AI, because this is just like, hey, I want to do X. Okay, great. This is how you do X. Okay, cool. Bye. Right? Yeah. Versus the whole conversation that you're saying, there's pleasantries, there's building, rapport, there's all of these things, which just take time, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely nicer to make appointments.
Yes.
Although, I mean, a lot of people also make appointments online now. That's even faster. That's even faster.
Yeah,
you don't actually have to dial the phone.
That's much faster. I have funny examples of people who, even when they get the answer from AI, they're still not satisfied. It's a very, 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 very tiny percentage. It's a funny story, actually. We had a caller call into one of our customers.
Yeah.
And the customer doesn't accept dualies on the track, right? And so they call and they're like, do you accept dualies? And the AI knows you don't accept dualies. So the AI's like, unfortunately, we don't accept dualies, which is like dual rear vehicles. Mm-hmm. And the person was like, representative, like as if talking to a human is going to change the fact, that we now accept dualies. So there are some people like that are very, very, very small percentage. But just being in this industry, you see a lot of fascinating things.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've talked a lot about the customer service aspect of AI.
Yes.
What else are you working on right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Because there's a lot that we're working on when it comes to AI. Obviously, we're working on AI customer service. So our first iteration of our product was just voice. That's like the meat, the value that we bring is we're making your people 50% more efficient by handling the majority of customer service inquiries. We found that, hey, now car washes are having their customer service teams work out of so many places. So like out of email, out of their CRM, out of their voicemail, out of all these places. So now we're building kind of the Zendesk for the car wash industry. Zendesk is a ticketing management platform. So basically all of your customer inquiries live in that ticketing platform. And so we've built a really cool tool and a really cool product where customer service teams can have all of their tickets in just one page. They don't have to go to multiple places. So that's the first product.
Yeah.
The second product that we're working on now is just kind of baby infancy stages. And probably I'm saying this for the first time, is a sales tool that can help your people on the ground sell more using AI. So some of my customers record a lot of their calls and they have humans listen to those calls. What we can do is we can have AI listen. When I say calls, I mean like sales conversations happening on the ground.
Yeah.
We can have AI listen to all of these sales conversations and use a rubric to say, okay, here's what Brian wants their salespeople to do. AI can take those conversations, say, okay, salesperson A is doing X, Y, Z correctly. This is what their tone sounds like. This is what's happening. And they sold this car, right? And then you connect everything together. So if this customer calls back next month and you recognize their phone number and you say, oh, we just sold this last month, you can kind of go back and AI can say, this one was canceled. Here's why it was canceled, because this is how it was sold. And you can really start selling more memberships using this new tool. So that's kind of like where our product is headed, but there's a lot more to come.
Well, and I mean, this is a hard question. You
please.
got to look way out into the future.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of talked about what AI is today, what you're doing with AI right now,
Yes.
what you're working on right now. What are you gonna be working on in 5 years? Like, what's next? Like, what's the big next thing? Like, do you have some ideas, some crazy cool things you plan to bring to the market?
Yeah, that's a good question. We often get asked by our customers, like, what can we see in a few years? And you've heard of the term IoT, Internet of Things, where everything is like connected, right? That's our goal with AI in the car wash space, because everything that we're doing is purely car wash, right? Like I have people that on my team, on my customer success team, that goes in and what they do is they basically listen to every call. They read every call. And the reason why we do that is because we're building for this industry. We want to make sure that we have the best data. Remember, we come back to that data question to feed to the AI. Is it doing this right? Is it doing this wrong? How can we improve it? So one of our goals is from when the time the car goes into the car wash to the time it exited, we want that to be powered by AI to do so many things. How can you make that that car, the next time it comes, the most profitable for you? How can you make sure that you understand their behavior, where they're going, where they live? Is this car coming from, neighborhood two roads down? You need to market to that neighborhood more. So there's a lot that we can do with car washes. In the next 5 years, I think that's where we want to go.
That's interesting. That like with the Internet of Things, I mean, you could really, through sensors, you could monitor all of your equipment.
Yes.
And really start to maybe build trends on, like when things are going to break, be more, like you mentioned, ordering the engine before it breaks.
Yes.
But I mean, you could probably really, really dial that in.
Yes.
And even to the point where maybe if you got a camera on the car, it's like, well, this car's covered in bird droppings. Let's just go ahead and like double up this.
Yes.
Or hit it twice or whatever.
100%.
Or this car's pretty darn clean. It looks like they come here every day. Maybe we don't need to, lather it up quite as much. I mean, you could probably save chemical, use more where you need it, use less where you don't.
And everybody's happy.
Everybody's still happy.
And everybody's happy, yeah. And part of what makes Hello Wash unique in what we're doing, in the AI world at least, we're a true AI company. We're not white labeling anybody else's AI, right? So we build our own AI infrastructure in-house. And there's nobody else in the industry doing this, in the car wash industry. And why that's and we have like some of the smartest AI engineers on our team. Why that's important is because when you build AI and you want to innovate, you got to innovate on your own infrastructure. I can't go take whatever I'm white labeling and build XYZ feature into it that's specific for car washes, because they're not just catering for you, they're catering for 100 other markets, right? And that's kind of like what makes Hello Wash unique is the fact that we're taking AI, building our own infrastructure around it, and then innovating on top of that.
So Meddy, is there anything more you'd like to share with our audience today?
Yeah, do you want to give the AI a try?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let me give you a number. I hate doing live demos, but let's fingers crossed this works.
Okay.
947 777
777
7311.
7311.
Put that on speaker if you can.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling Hello Wash. My name is Allison. How may I help you?
I'd like to cancel.
I'm sorry to hear that you're considering canceling. May I ask the reason for cancellation?
My car never seems to be dry.
Understood. Would it entice you to stay on the unlimited membership if the next month is only $10?
Well, yeah, I think so.
Great. I have sent a text with a special link for you to claim your $10 offer. Thank you for your business. How else can I assist you today?
I think I'm good. Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you for calling Hello Washington. Have a great day.
Perfect. Yeah. So as you can see, it's very, very interactive. It gets almost emotional sometimes too, because you can say, hey, we've had these calls where my wife passed away, so I want to cancel. I don't drive anymore. And it's like, I'm really sorry to hear that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's kind of really cool.
That's smart. That's smart. That's more than my car's not dry, right? I
Yeah,
like my car's not dry. That's a pretty easy one. But my wife passed away. That's hard for a person to know how to respond to.
That's hard for a person to know how to respond to.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, I mean, so you tried it. For any operators out there that really want to make their people more efficient, and I always tell people, like, come give us a try.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, then we're not gonna hold you hostage. Yeah. And so they can go to hellowash.ai or .io. We own both domains. And they can reach out, call the number on there. It comes directly to my cell phone, and I'd be happy to talk about how we can make their car wash operations more efficient.
Well, hey, Meddy, thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for taking the time to join us for this Wash Talk. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, our guest has been Meddy Ali from Hello Wash. We hope to see you again on a future episode.